Why, hello. I'm Andy, and I'm here at Mount Vernon Square Station at the northern terminus of the DC Metro's Yellow Line. Today we're going to be riding the Yellow Line all the way to its other end at Huntington Station back in Virginia, looking at some of the secret stories and facts that you may not know about the DC Metro's shortest rail line. So join me, ride with me, and let's begin this journey. Welcome to Secrets of the Yellow Line. The Yellow Line starts at Mount Vernon Square Station in Washington, D.C., sharing tracks with the Green Line until L'Enfant Plaza. Here, the line splits and crosses the Potomac River before reconnecting with the Blue Line in Virginia. Ultimately, the line splits once more in Alexandria, reaching its final station of Huntington in Fairfax County. In recent years, however, no line has seen as many service changes as the Yellow Line, so we thought it would be a little bit helpful to break down all of those changes. The Yellow Line first opened in 1983, running between Gallery Place-Chinatown and National Airport, but later that year, the line would be extended south to Huntington. And in 1991, the line would be extended northward to U Street Cardozo, but only temporarily, as in December of that same year, the Green Line would take over that portion of the route, leaving the Yellow Line terminating for the very first time at Mount Vernon Square. In 2006, the line was extended northward to Fort Totten, and then again to Greenbelt in 2012 with rush hour service only. Rush hour service was then cut in 2017, and the terminus reverted to Fort Totten. But then, in 2019, the full line was extended all the way to Greenbelt, and finally in May of 2023, the Yellow Line was truncated back to Mount Vernon Square, its current terminus. So as you can see, DC's shortest metro line has seen quite a lot of changes, but regardless, it's time to begin our own journey on the Yellow Line, starting at Mount Vernon Square. So, on the mezzanine level of the Mount Vernon Square station is a place that we looked at briefly in Secrets of the Green Line video, and that is this giant space over here. It was previously covered up in that video, now it's open. The question still remains, what is this for? Truly, we're not sure, so if you do know, please drop a hint in the comments. Our first stop south is a familiar stop, Gallery Place, Chinatown. Now, we've covered this station in our Secrets of the Red Line video, but there's still one piece of artwork that we didn't mention in our previous video, and that is, of course, the Yellow Line, a 1989 installation by Conces Flores that you can see here on the Yellow and Green Line platforms at Gallery Place, Chinatown. There's supposed to be a yellow neon line that's all lit up, but unfortunately when we visited, it was not turned on. Nonetheless, it's a cool piece of art that's especially dedicated to DC's shortest metro line. Continuing south, we pass through Archives Station as well as L'Enfant Plaza Station, both covered in previous videos, and emerge above ground onto the Yellow Line's iconic bridge over the Potomac River. So the Yellow Line Bridge over the Potomac River is one of the Yellow Line's most distinctive and well-known features. It offers wonderful views of both DC and of Arlington, but what many may not know is that this bridge has a name. If you visit under the Yellow Line Bridge in East Potomac Park, you'll find a small plaque that states that the bridge is dedicated to Charles R. Fenwick with the simple moniker, Friend of Transit. The plaque's lack of detail begs the question, who was Charles R. Fenwick? Charles Fenwick was a politician who represented Arlington County in the Virginia Senate for decades, and in 1966 was a driving force in getting the state of Virginia to pass the Washington Metropolitan Area Transit Authority Compact, which would lead to the creation of WMATA. For this effort, the bridge was named in his honor 5 months after it opened, but oddly enough, it is difficult to find any reference to this bridge as the Charles R. Fenwick Bridge besides the plaque and the original resolution. WMATA currently refers to it simply as the Yellow Line Bridge in its press releases and official publications. But in the process of trying to find more info as to why the bridge's name has fallen out of use, we came across more references not to Charles Fenwick's legacy with the WMATA Compact, but to his time in the Virginia Senate, much of which has come to light following the publication of this 2008 book. Fenwick's legacy is now, per the Virginia Encyclopedia, predominantly focused on his involvement with the notorious Byrd Organization, a political machine in Virginia which, after the Brown v. Board Supreme Court decision that ruled that school segregation unconstitutional, carried out Virginia's massive resistance policy to school desegregation. Although Fenwick was opposed to the more radical elements of this policy, he did help write laws that harassed NAACP's efforts to integrate schools in Virginia, among additional support for other legislative actions aimed at circumventing school desegregation. And so today, with this troubled history, both Fenwick and the Bridges name have fallen into justified obscurity. But our journey moves forward, crossing the Potomac and entering Virginia. It's here where we connect with the Blue Line at Pentagon and then cruise past Pentagon City, Crystal City, and National Airport, arriving at a familiar site, DC's newest metro station at Potomac Yard, where we'll briefly stop to offer some updates from our Secrets of the Blue Line video. So we're here back at Potomac Yard Station on the blue and yellow lines. You might remember we've already featured the station in the Secrets of the Blue Line video, but we wanted to talk about it one more time for this yellow line video because one of the pieces of artwork by Rob Lay, A Subtle Trip, had not yet opened. Well, now the artwork, which features Virginia bluebells, or at least is meant to evoke them, can be seen as it's now been opened over there. And one other thing we didn't mention last time is that the corridors that connect the actual entrances on the street to the station itself, they're really long. And after Potomac Yard, we roll through Alexandria and come to the first station solely on the yellow line, Eisenhower Avenue. So Eisenhower Station is only one of two stations in the system that is only served by the yellow line, but beyond that, it is unique in the entire system for its architecture. Eisenhower Avenue is the only station with gull-style canopies to have side platforms. And if you feel like we're really grasping at straws to find something unique about this station, be comforted in that the next station truly earns its unique title. And after our relatively short journey along the entirety of DC Metro's Yellow Line, we arrive at Huntington, the southern terminus in Fairfax County. This is probably the most unique station in the entire Washington Metro system. Its architecture is one of a kind, defined by these platform-level roof supports with giant holes bored right through. These holes line up with the two giant Fairfax County seals on the south side of the platform. Huntington was both the first station built in Fairfax County, Virginia, and the first station to be built beyond the Beltway. The station's distinctiveness among its peers is also due to its unique topography. The station is essentially built on a steep slope. Tracks entering the station from the north are elevated, while tracks entering the station from the south are underground. Riders exiting the station at its northern entrance need to take an escalator down to reach ground level, while riders exiting at the southern entrance actually need to take an escalator up. But riders at the southern entrance can also ride Metro's only incline elevator, which, while a bit slow, makes for some pretty cool views as you climb up. Although there was at one time an incline elevator at Farragut North Station, before a traditional elevator was built, this is now the only one in the system and one of only a few in United States transit systems. The incline elevator leads to the station's southern mezzanine, where you'll find a completely unique cut canopy. Seemingly sawed in half to accommodate the topography of the station entrance area, this canopy and escalator leads to the station's southern bus bays, where you'll find a historical marker noting the spot of Fort Lyon, one of Washington's line of forts that defended the capital from Confederate attack during the Civil War. In 1863, President Lincoln actually personally inspected this fort after the fort's magazine accidentally exploded, killing 21. Another, more recently abandoned structure at the station's southern entrance is one of Huntington's original parking garages. This garage is still accessible from the southern mezzanine as it is still used as a somewhat creepy pedestrian connection to some new transit-oriented development southeast of the station. And for some more cheery info about Huntington, we find a familiar logo. And once again, here at Huntington, you can see what we like to call a discount Metro M. And looking towards the station's northern entrance, if you walk just a block from this entrance, you can really appreciate the height of the elevated tracks, particularly from the aptly named Metroview Parkway. So we've made it to Huntington Station, the final stop on the DC Metro Yellow Line, all the way in Fairfax County, Virginia. Thank you so much for joining me on this journey, and until the next time, I'll see you on the Metro. On a train just like that.